Hey friends, welcome back to our little Oregon homestead. I'm out in the garden today. I'm going to be doing some garden work, but first a couple things. If you're new here, don't worry, so are we. We started this channel about 3 weeks ago, a month ago or so, when we moved into this 9-acre property. Really, we started it just to share the property in our home with our friends and family, and so we're just going with it. And that's super exciting for us because you guys now get to be here from the beginning, from moving in day to where we'll end up in the future. Basically, you got to see this property, this home, like just bare minimum, no garden, no animals, nothing. And you're gonna get to walk through the journey, the progression of what we make out of this property, which is super exciting and super cool for us, and we are so happy to share, and we hope it's an encouragement or just something nice for y'all to watch and enjoy and be a part of, really. The second thing is that Micah, in the last video we shared, he laid down some gravel for my cottage garden, which turned out amazing. It's really starting to feel like a cottage garden for me. It's really starting to get that cottagey, warm, inviting sanctuary vibe going for me, and I just love it. I love being out here. I love working out here, and literally from the time I get up in the morning, have some coffee, I want to come out here. As soon as I'm done working for the day, I want to be back out here, and I'll be back out here after dinner too. That's how great it is. And that's exactly the feeling that I wanted coming into this property. Is I wanted it to be work, but I wanted it to be work that I enjoyed in a place I enjoyed. And that's really what this has turned out for me. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and I hope that you guys love it just as much as I do. And there's still a lot of more work that we have to put into it, but it's already looking super great. What was awesome about that is that we do have our kids who are able and willing to come and help us when we need it. Thomas, my oldest, he came out and helped Micah lay some compost down for the 2 new beds that I added, and he helped him lay out some gravel too, which is super helpful. We're so fortunate to have the kids around, and we're super fortunate that they're enjoying the process too. So today, as far as garden work, I'm going to be thinning out some of the vegetables I planted. So specifically today I'm working on the radishes, and what that looks like is when I planted them, I planted just a whole row in abundance, really. And the idea behind that is to have hopefully as many seeds take and hold as I can. And so what that ended up looking like now is that now they're too overcrowded. and you have to go in and thin them so that they have enough room to develop and to grow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin them down by moving some, so leaving enough space in between to allow the plant that's staying to grow and get as much nutrients as it can out of the soil. So you can do a couple different things with the ones that you remove. You can remove them and just not use them, and that's totally fine. Some people remove them and use them as microgreens, which is super cool. I haven't done that yet, but it's definitely something that I'll try in the future because I love microgreens on just about anything. And then the third thing is you can remove the ones that are overcrowding and replant them in a different spot. And that's actually what I'm going to do. So it's kind of like you already have seeds started and now you just have to transplant them into the ground. So what I'll do is I'll leave about 3 to 4 inches in between each radish, enough room for it to really grow and have enough nutrients, and I'll move the ones that I thin out over just in a row next to them and do the same thing, space them out about 3 to 4 inches so that they now have enough room to grow. So the first thing I'm going to do is just water down the soil. I want to make sure it's nice and wet so that when I'm moving them, I'm not moving them into dry soil. And then I'll get them moved in. I'll dig down a little bit just to loosen up the soil around the roots for the ones I'm pulling, and I will just use my finger to dig a hole wherever I'm going to put them and just place the roots right in there and kind of compact it a little bit so that they can take hold. And then after I'm done with all of them, I'll go ahead and water the section again, just to make sure that the soil is still moist so that the roots that are kind of trying to reestablish have a good way to do that. So before I get started, I'm actually going to go ahead and water my garden, or at least this area. Typically I wouldn't water in the middle of the day, but in order to make sure that the plants take really well, I want to have it be a little bit moist so that the roots can get that as they start to grow. You don't want to put it in dry soil and then leave it. So I'm going to water down the soil, I'm going to move them over, and then I'm going to water it again to help them establish. So as you can see, I'm just kind of digging around them to get them out, to get their roots loosened up. And then I'm just pulling them out and digging a deep enough hole so that their roots are completely covered. And then I'm just kind of packing it back in a little bit. Some of these might not take, which is fine, but some of them will. And that way I'm not completely feeling like they're going to waste. Like I still get to use them even if it wasn't in their original spot, and I don't feel like I'm thinning them out just to thin them out. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this row. So with radishes specifically, you want to make sure to leave about 3 to 4 inches or so for them to grow in between. And so that's kind of what I'm doing as I replant them in this middle section. And after I'm done with this row, I'm going to see if I can get some broccoli done too, thin those out a little bit. If I don't have time today, then oh well, because dinner has to get made sometime. So I'll just finish out this row, see if I have any more time for broccoli, and if not, I'll just bring you guys out another time. Alright guys, that was it for thinning our radishes today. I'll bring you along when I do the broccoli and the other vegetables that I have going. In the meantime, make sure you go back and watch our first video to see where we started with this property. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for us. Thanks guys, I'll catch you in the next one.